Hey crew, I've got the key to that 23 Toyota GR Corolla. We are going to take it for a drive, but first let's check out how it looks on the inside and outside. At the front of the Gazoo Racing Corolla, we've got a large black gloss grille here on the Circuit Edition. Tons of ventilation, all functional, including these brake ducts here, just outside of the LED fog lights. You even have some vents here just on either side of the Toyota badge. Then as standard on the Circuit Edition, we've got LED headlights, they're projectors, LED DRLs, and turn signals. Here we've got some functional air curtains. Up top on the hood, the Circuit Edition gets the bulging hood. And we've got these two black gloss heat extractors. This GR Corolla is painted in white. There are only a few color options for this vehicle. Moving to the side, the Circuit Edition gets these black gloss 18-inch forged alloy wheels. They're wrapped up in Michelin Pilot Sport 4 tires, 235 section front and rear. From within those wheels, you can see the red painted 4-piston brake calipers clamping on the 14-inch vented and slotted rotors up front. They're 11.7-inch rotors in the rear with 2-piston calipers. Functional fender vent here in black gloss mirror caps. Window trim is in matte black, and then there's a forged carbon fiber roof. This marbled texture is so cool. Extended side skirts down there, that one says GR4. And stepping back to look at the profile, here we're reminded that the Corolla is not a big vehicle. It looks a little stubby, but it makes up for it a bit with muscularity. The flared out fenders that you especially see here at the back, those hard cut lines look really cool. Now this is a pre-production model, so this Circuit Edition doesn't have the bigger wing that you do get as standard. And that, the wing makes a big difference. Down low, there's a black gloss diffuser with 3 exhaust ports, the middle one being an active exhaust. There are LED taillights with incandescent turn signals. At the back, you can really see the added width for the GR Corolla compared to the standard Corolla. And you are not going to mistake the two, especially this Circuit Edition, and especially when it has that wing. You won't mistake the GR for the regular Corolla on the road. Now let's check out that interior. Opening up and looking inside at this black interior, the only color option for the GR Corolla. On the Circuit Edition, we get leatherette borders for the seats, perforated suede inserts, and red contrast stitching. On the doors, lots of hard plastics up high and down low, but then there is a leatherette padded armrest with red contrast stitching. Gloss black here that will collect dust, smudge, and scratch. Moving inside, easy to do, and then behind my own seat at 6 feet tall. With the seat moved forward so I can reach the clutch pedal, I do have a good amount of knee room, and then the back of the seat is in leatherette. Foot pockets are kind of narrower, thigh support is good. Headroom is shockingly accommodating. So when I'm sitting fully upright, my head just barely, but it does clear the roof. Back here, we've got one USB-C port to fight over, and then you've got a DC outlet, larger drive shaft hump. So if you do have to put someone in the middle seat, hopefully they're small. There is an armrest that comes down when you're not using that with 2 cup holders and padding. Pretty decent accommodations in the back seats, and I think 2 full-size adults could make the trip as long as it's not a long one. Let's check out the front. Door close noise. Yeah, a little economy car. Up front, we have more heavily bolstered sport bucket seats with GR embroidery on the headrests. They're heated and manually adjusting. On the door panels are injection molding up high, red contrast stitching, more gloss black here around the grab handle, and then around the window switches, you get power adjusting, not power folding door mirrors. Some controls here, including the optional heated leather wrap steering wheel. We'll go to the trunk, rather the hatch. And there is no hatch release up front, just stick your hand in and press up on the pad. Inside, we have just under 18 cubic feet of space. Here are a couple backpacks for reference. There's not a ton of cargo space unless you fold down the 60/40 rear folding seats. And the reason there's not as much cargo space back here as something like the Civic Type R is because you got that rear differential. 2 handles here, you gotta pull it down real hard to get it to close in one swoop. In the front seat, I'll put us in accessory mode to turn on the 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster that is reconfigurable and pretty darn cool. No head-up display, injection molding up high on the dashboard, and then you get as standard an 8-inch touchscreen infotainment that does have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The infotainment itself is respectably responsive, and then you've got a physical volume knob here off to the left, air vents, along with your single zone of auto climate control, some injection molding here on the dashboard. Below is a wireless smartphone charging pad and 2 stages of seat heating. More red contrast stitching around all of this gloss black. Then this piece is going to look the worst after just a few thousand miles. Drive mode selector is here, and then of course your 6-speed manual gear selector, and the lever feels fantastic in the hands. Then your manual handbrake, which is just so satisfying. Differential control, a couple cup holders, and then a grippy pad for, I don't know, your wallet or your phone. Visibility is, it's halfway decent. You do have that blind spot at that C-pillar, but thankfully there's standard blind spot monitoring and rear cross traffic. This cabin has pretty much everything you'd need. It fits the price point. I'm ready to take the GR Corolla for a drive. All right, let's fire it up. Deep bass from the exhaust on startup, and you've got the contrasting bright and perky chimes. Nice little animation on the gauge cluster as we get things going here. We're going to start out in the normal drive mode. You can see we've got custom, sport, normal, and eco to choose from, along with the power split, which we are right now at 60-40, so 60 front, 40 rear. Into first gear we go, and down goes the manual handbrake. Turn radius test. Let's see how we do. 4-driven wheels, but still not bad at all. World famous horn test. Please get out of the way. No one's gonna listen to that. Who are you kidding, Corolla? Now, we are not on the public roads right now. Toyota didn't want to take the GR Corollas out of this Utah Motorsports Park facility, so they're letting us do a simulated road course on the outskirts of these 2 racetracks. We will get track time in the GR Corolla, both the core model and the Circuit Edition, in just a few moments, but we're going to start here. The powertrain for the Gazoo Racing Corolla is a 1.6 liter turbocharged 3-cylinder. It makes 300 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque. That is for both the core and Circuit editions. If you get the Morizo edition, that bumps up the torque. I don't know why turn signal, there's no other way to go, but we can listen to the turn signal sound now. That's a really... Why is that like a nostalgic sound? That turn signal sound feels like it's been in cars for decades. They didn't try to get too fancy with it. Anyway, Morizo edition has 295 pound-feet. The core and Circuit have 273. That is routed exclusively through a 6-speed manual gearbox. Toyota took a page out of Honda's book saying the CTR, the Civic Type R, is only going to be manual operated. This one is only going to have a manual as well. And that's unlike the Volkswagen Golf R, where you can choose either manual or the dual clutch automatic. This one, just rolling the gears around town, is a wonderful little thing. The travel of the clutch pedal is on the longer side, but the engagement is nice and clear. The throws are ultra short, and they're really just so nice and notchy. It's like click, click, click as you change the gears. There is a rev match feature that you can turn on and off. I have it turned off right now. Hear a little of that wastegate noise. The ride's a bit bouncier over these pocketed and unsmooth roads. But it's not uncomfortable, even though this is a sport-tuned suspension, significantly stiffer than the standard Corolla with all those additional weld points and structural enhancement and adhesive and sport-tuned shock absorbers and springs. It's not bad riding at all. It's just, it's a bit more eager, I would say. If you try to get into the power below, I want to say 2,700 RPM, there isn't much of it. There's that defined turbo lag, but you're above that, and it swells up nicely. Bit of a slalom for us. Very content with the operation, the setup of this gearbox. It's communicative, it's very clear about the engagement. The steering isn't too heavy around town, especially here in normal drive mode. Try sport. See if that brings out any difference. Faint bit of extra weight. But this stays, it remains a very easy to drive vehicle. This is so approachable, and that all-wheel drive system, what that's gonna mean for a younger or inexperienced enthusiast, it's gonna keep you out of trouble. It's a graduated weapon. You can start out with the safety on, 60-40 split of torque, and then you can kind of unleash it with 30-70 as you go through the distribution of power. But really, these are just teasers of the GR Corolla's true performance capability. So let's hop onto the track and see how we do. All right, so we are now hopping in a core model with the performance package. That means we've got the limited slip differentials in the front and rear, and we've got the Michelin Pilot Sport 4 tires. Our distribution of torque is 50-50 in the track drive mode. And we're gonna have a good time here, I can already tell. The noise is interesting. A little on the subdued side. Traction control is off here. The car definitely wants you to scrub the speed before the corner, or it sort of threatens understeer. The brakes have a nice little bite in them. Missed that apex for sure. You can definitely fine-tune its position within a corner with the lift off of the throttle. And it does not mind changing direction. I want to rally this so bad now. The steering is talking to me. Great sense of what the tires have left in them in terms of grip. Pedal placement solid for heel toe rev matching, even though I do have the rev match feature turned on, kind of doing it myself anyway. This is the final corner here. Tucks in neatly. This is a solid all-wheel drive system. This track drive mode, the 50-50 split, feels perfect for just manipulating the car and having tons of fun out there. The gearbox, the snappy shifts I was feeling just around the road are so satisfying here on track as well. Now we've moved into a circuit edition, which, as I said before, has the same performance goodies as the core with performance package, but right now, I changed the differential split of power to 30 in the front and 70 in the rear. I'm gonna see if that doesn't cure a slight bit of understeer Yes. I could get on the power earlier, and I felt like it brought the rear end around. This car is so fun to drive. You want to just beat on it a little bit, grab it by the scruff of the neck, chuck it through corners, and it responds saying, "I'm happy to do it." The tires have plenty of grip. The gearbox is a joy to operate. The brakes are, I think, what impressed me the most, honestly. The stopping power here is phenomenal. And being able to change up this all-wheel drive system, so now it's being a little more rear biased and more entertaining. That's what I'm looking for. Toyota is giving the enthusiasts what they want. Super impressed with this car. And once again, I really just want to take this to a rally stage. Like, I was having so much fun, and it's so feisty that that's where I want to take it. But let's hop back now to the on-road to wrap up with the competitive discussion and pricing. Okay. Okay. We've had our fun in this GR Corolla, on-road, and on track. Now let's wrap it up. Let's talk about the pricing and the competition. Couple things I did not yet share with you. The top speed for the GR Corolla is 143 miles per hour. The fuel economy is 21 mpg in the city, 28 on the highway, and 24 combined. The starting figure for the core model is about $37,000. If you want to spring for the Circuit Edition with the extra bits of styling and carbon fiber and the front and rear limited slip differentials and the red painted brakes, that one's going to be about $44,000. And then the Morizo Edition is a big jump up, $51,000. It competes most directly with vehicles like the Honda Civic Type R. Even though that one is just a front-wheel drive vehicle, it does make similar power. I have not yet seen, we don't yet know the price of the latest generation, the newest generation Civic Type R, so I'll just have to use most of the specs from the older model. That one starts at just under $39,000. It made 306 horsepower. I believe the new one's gonna make 315. It got to 60 in 4.8 seconds, and the top speed was 169 miles per hour. The fuel economy for that one was 25 combined. And then we have the Volkswagen Golf R. That one's a big step up in price, $44,600. It does make 315 horsepower. It gets to 60 in the quickest 4.7 seconds. That's with the manual. You can get the dual clutch automatic in that one. That's kind of distinctive for the Golf R compared to the GR Corolla and the Civic Type R, which are manual exclusive. But with the manual, 4.7 seconds to 60. The top speed is 155 miles an hour, and the fuel economy is 25 combined, I believe. I'll be corrected in the car if I'm wrong. Of those vehicles, no, the GR Corolla is not the quickest. It's not the fastest, and it's just not the most mature. You know, I'm gonna say the latest took a wild swing. The older Civic Type R was just like a hooligan machine on the outside, but now it looks very mature, like the Golf R, which looks like really the adult hot hatchback. But the GR Corolla kind of sticks with this, like, just fun attitude. This thing is very entertaining on road and on the track, and it really just begs to be grabbed by the scruff of the neck. I don't know what I'm doing or where I'm driving right now. I'm just trying to wrap this one up here. Grab by the scruff of the neck and just chucked in and out of corners. It's a good time.